December Park Board meeting to
Orders of the
order.
day.
Debbie, would you do a roll call, please?
Don Buchholz,
Here.
Mike Kennedy,
Here.
Karen Nessett. Here. Anthony Liberto.
Here?
And Pat Castoa.
Yep. There was a minutes and everything in the packet that went out electronically. Did anybody see anything in there that needed to be corrected or changed? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move.
I'll second it. Oh,
Moved and seconded, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. We have no citizens here to talk to us about anything, so we'll move right into new business. And it was in the packet, the summary on how the lakefront
Yeah.
went, Mike?
Yep. So next couple items are just some summaries of our kind of park usage. One of them is the boat launch in Lakefront Park. The next item would be just for shelter reservations. So kind of in the breakdown, obviously we did really well this year compared to the previous year. I did include the previous year's numbers for you just to kind of get an idea of the increase that we saw. So for season pass, our revenue jumped approximately, $5,000 for just season passes. The daily fee, which is basically people coming in and just paying per day, that jumped substantially from 2024. I had to kind of go look back why that was so low in 2024. We did have a couple of weeks where the launch was closed due to high water, even with the new launch. So that did kind of play into the numbers. But the $80,295 is kind of more in line as far as what we're anticipating to see into the future. And then, so their 2025 revenue was $103,855. This does not include November. We did just get that today, so I didn't really open that. Did you, Deb, at all? So I would assume it's probably a couple $1,000s more than that, but it just kind of gives you an idea of where we were and kind of where we're at and kind of what the expected returns are on the launch as we continue to see high usage. So
Yeah.
What's the daily fee? 24 versus 25.
So we bumped it from 8 and 12 to 10 and 15. And then we just bumped it again from 10 and 15 to 13 and 19.50.
Good.
So, yep. And that falls in line with what the DNR charges for their state park entry fees. So we align with what they do. That's the maximum we can do. So yeah, obviously that money, I think it was asked at our last meeting. The revenue from the boat launch goes back to the general fund to cancel operating expenditures for parks. So it doesn't specifically stay at the launch. Improvements for the launch, just, based on usage, typically comes out of like a CIP item or general operating, depending upon how expensive the fix is. So just kind of give you an idea of where that revenue goes.
What improvements do we have to make?
Yeah, so the only thing that we've run into again is when the water went down after Labor Day, we did have some issues with some trailers backing off the end of the ramp again, just from power loading, a couple of claims against the city, bent trailers. So what I'd like to do is order another set of extensions and place them back on the end again. And then beyond that, I think people are on their own. That means we would have 2 extensions placed on each launch.
Is there any way that we could put it like on a strip on the dock, so when you're looking in your mirror and you're backing up and
Yeah.
you see that you're getting close to the orange stripe, stop?
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I did think of having our street sign staff make a sign that says end of ramp or edge of ramp or something.
Yeah, but
along
something
the
that
dock.
you're looking in your mirrors, you can see
Yeah,
Yeah, and then a
and know that you're there.
yeah,
That's orange.
yeah. I would say, 90. It was 2 incidences. 98% of the people that use it are smaller watercrafts. It's just when you get these, especially in the fall, when coming off the river and you get some 28 footers, and yeah. So that's kind of where we ran into the issues, but that's a good idea. I'll make a note of that.
And we didn't have any issues down there that I heard.
Nope, not as far as that. Busy weekends, obviously, parking is always a thing. We still run into issues with people parking where they're not supposed to be. It seemed to be a little better this year. We did raise the parking ticket for, wrongful parking. So I don't know if that had something to do with it, but maybe just the message is getting out too as far as where to park, where not to park, so on and so forth. So,
How much is the parking ticket?
what is the parking ticket? I don't remember. I don't remember off the top of my head. Yeah.
I think it's in the pan. Oh.
I'll go get one.
2 days in the stocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our exposure of people coming back to the city and saying, I bent my trailer. Does a simple sign saying, launch at your own risk?
Ramp at your own risk. City of Hudson.
I mean, we can't knowingly have problems, but
Right.
if you go, we're not gonna put that ramp 50 feet out in the
No,
water.
and
so-
the DNR wouldn't allow us to do that, right?
Yeah.
There is obviously, and I would have to speak to the city attorney, but I'm under the assumption that if the city is negligent in any way and knows of something that is wrong, then obviously if we don't fix it, then we're liable for the repairs. Having the sign out there that says end a ramp, that might supersede the liability, but that's a question for the city attorney
Right.
for anything in the future, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just keep it from happening in the future
Right.
more.
Yeah,
You can't stop the guys who are gonna power on with the big boats.
yeah. Well, that's just it. I mean,
Yeah.
and we have no power loading signs out there, and it's just, it doesn't matter. But if you have your little 16, 18-foot fishing boat, it's not an issue. So,
Any other questions
To get me
on
the
that summary?
yep, so the part B here is just the summary rentals from 2025 to 2024. Again, I included some numbers that Deb had put together. Our shelter reservations were down just a little. In 2024, we had 234 reservations, and then in 2025, we had 213. We did collect more money because we did raise our rental fees in 2025. So the total pavilion fee collected was $12,625 compared to 10,310. So a couple $1,000 more in 25 compared to 24.
Were there any weddings up at the Prospect Overlook?
One,
Two.
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 Oh, good.
Yep.
Usually we have
know of.
more than that.
Yeah,
It's
a lot of
kinda-
people don't register for it, they just
just
show up and do it, yeah. It's a place in the park.
Yeah, that's fine
fine.
too, right?
Yeah.
The reservation for the Overlook at Prospect Park for weddings is if people want to have a more private ceremony, then we sign it, so on and so forth, to kind of just let people know. If people don't care, if somebody walks through and go ahead, go and get married wherever you want in the parks.
Right.
They're public space, so.
And I've seen people volunteer to take photographs for them while they're,
Oh, yeah.
doing stuff instead of trying to do selfies.
Yeah.
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 Yep, yep. So, yeah, I mean, fairly consistent, nothing outrageous. Deb, you handle a lot of the reservations. I mean, anything that popped out to you that?
No,
Yeah,
just, they're very busy.
yeah.
If we had another pavilion, it'd be fill everything. Build it and they'll come.
Is that information available online? Who has them reserved or no?
There's a sign, yeah. Is that what you said?
No, is it available online to see who's got a park reserved?
Yep, there's a calendar online that they
Oh,
can
there
go
is.
to, yep.
Okay, because I saw something at the Lakefront Park one time, I says, I have no idea what it was, and that was that,
Oh, yep,
yeah,
yep, I try to put everything on there that I can possibly put on there.
okay,
Yep.
all right.
Even like candlelight stroll, I'll put tour homes, candlelight stroll, I'll put those kind of things on the calendar, just it's for information, so.
This is the white sidewalls when they were playing down there, so I didn't know what that event was.
So that's all I have on that one.
Okay, that's it for. Then the fees. Under old business, we've got discussion and possible action to update the park 10-year capital expenditure plan.
Yeah.
And that's the big,
Yep, so
handout
that's
you just
the,
gave.
yep, so a couple handouts that I gave you. The 8x11 is similar to the one that I handed out last week. The only change is, or last week, at our last meeting, the only change was I was kind of directed, just to kind of make things easier, point out what the high priorities are for the parks that I see right now. And then based on that, I did kind of put together just a draft, 10-year plan, and that's your big 11 by 17 sheets. Kind of inserted some of those high priority items in, along with some of the things that we kind of had standing in there. My goal, specifically for the next couple of years, from 2027 to about 2030, kind of keep it around that $250,000 capital improvement expenditure. Obviously, this goes in front of finance and council. They have the ultimate authority on what gets approved and what doesn't, but this kind of just gives them a roadmap, kind of what is needed in the parks over the next few years and then beyond. The one thing that Pat and I were talking about beforehand, and maybe Pat, you want to chime in on this. The one thing that I didn't include in here anywhere is the improvements possibly up at the bridge.
Oh, the old deep, yes.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's something that we want to identify in here somewhere, just in case if we need to write a grant, a joint grant
Yes.
with,
It's
so on
gotta
and
be
so
in the
forth.
plan.
It's gotta be in a CIP plan, so we can put it in any year as long as it's somewhere in there that we can show that it's in a
That's in the
CIP.
line. So,
So maybe that'd be one change that I would recommend. But other than that, I mean, obviously the needs, the high priority needs just for the public, the White Camp Park port and place surface. So that is starting to kind of heave and bubble, and underneath the swing sets and around the merry-go-rounds and more of the repeated use apparatuses, we've had to patch it over the last couple of years. And we had our supplier out that we had purchased it from. He kind of looked at it and goes, yeah, it's about due. They last about 15 to 20 years. And just based on the use that park gets, they're like, you should probably start planning for it. Obviously, that's a big ticket item. And then the Buckeye Garage, I know I'm going out, or I'm putting together an RFP to demo the well addition here. And so that will probably be coming down sometime, next spring or summer, if not sooner, depending upon the weather. But just looking at the original building, it's in a little bit of disrepair. There needs to be some, like I said, some tuck pointed, maybe some block removal replacement. When they do take down the old well, need to be some patching, and make it look kind of, so that's in there. The Lakefront Park bathrooms, we had money in this year's CIP. We're moving forward with that. We found that it's not enough money to do both the men's and the women's, so we're going to focus on the men's. I think the men's is the worst of the two, and then looking to get some money to do the women's side, and that's, partition updates, a really thorough cleaning, re-epoxy, re-painting, new sinks, urinals, just to freshen it up. The epoxy bathroom floors, that would be just a general across all of our public restrooms. We found that that's a lot more durable and easier to clean. We did it out at Williams Park at the new bathroom here, and we found that it's worked really well as far as for cleaning, so we're recommending to do that across all of our public restrooms.
we hopped over the St. Croix Trail, which was the second item on there.
Okay.
And I thought I'd give a little, if you remember on the wish list, it was one of the items. Depending on what goes on with the Gagnon building, they've donated the old depot building to the city. The city's known that for some time, so part of that planning that money was into the budget for was to identify the spaces how in that area at the end of St. Croix Street, to what's parking, where's our trails gonna be, what do we need to do to the space, such that when that domino falls, we've already got it ready to accept it, for lack of a better word.
Right.
The past discussions around the building was to be used as a kind of like a rest area building on the freeway. That's got bathrooms and that are mutant-proof and some historical information about the area and what's looking at it. And depending on how big a building and footprint we want to have, the ability to move the rowing club from where they are into part of that building as well. And because it's a good-sized building compared to what we would need for bathrooms at. But this was all money to be put at getting it organized. So, and also at that time, we still thought that we were getting the NSP property across the street from NSP. That is going to come under a lease, but I don't believe the finals have been negotiated or worked out on that. The soils underneath there are highly contaminated from when it was the old roundhouse
Yep.
and the old way of handling transistors and coal dumping and cinders and,
Yeah.
you know, how we were then. So when we took over, the city took over the property from the railroad, one of the stipulations on that, and it's the same with the NSP property or Excel property, is the fact that we don't do anything that opens up the ground. You know, yes, to a footing or something
Right.
like that, but we aren't digging into it or, you know, rearranging it, so those kind of uses. So parking made sense to go across the road. But that was the intent on that space. And then at some future time, we're gonna need to, that gets it there. But at the time that takes place, then what's gonna cost to do that building needs. You know, the good news is they gave it to us.
But
Now
doesn't
we gotta do something
the
with it.
city has to pay to move it, though, I
Making
think,
that
don't they?
into a rest
The city
area
has to move
brings
it.
people downtown.
Well,
which is really good.
and the intent is to make that the trail hub area for the bicycle loop. So that it doesn't take all those people, you know, down to Lake Malibu, up over the hill and to that area to be a trailhead. But there, we can handle the parking. There's bathrooms,
Yeah.
you know.
Have we thought of picnic tables down there as well and some grilling? Because I've been to all the parks, I've been to Prospect, I've been to White Camp, the one across from my home.
Yep.
Been visiting the parks, talking to people this summer. And the one thing I hear is more picnic tables and those grills that are bolted in that, you know, they want.
I can tell you from overlooking Lakefront Park,
Say again?
I can tell you from having overlooked Lakefront Park, living there for the last year, the ones in Lakefront Park are always used.
Yeah. we
They
need more.
are, there's always, I mean, it's rarely a nice weekend day that you don't look out and see every table is full. And some of them are big family picnics, some are just couples having lunch together and kids playing. It's really nice to see it get used that way.
And if we do it with all the parks, it'll, you know, lighten the load down there as
Yeah.
well. And, I
Well,
mean,
the intent on that end is to be a park, so,
yeah,
you know, as that, we haven't developed it yet or designed it, but all those things will have to go into the soup.
Yeah, and I know those conversations have been happening at the planning commission and city council level as far as that building is concerned, the depot. And, I know you know about that. That's come up in conversation because people are concerned about it. It's just a historical, building. And I know Mike Johnson's really on top of it as far as trying to preserve as much as he can of it and taking those materials and putting it at the end of St. Croix for a trailhead. But like you said, it's the cost, it's the development of the property. I know several, gosh, was it pre-COVID, several years ago? When they did some sewer work down in that area, and I'm talking about specifically off of St. Croix, they did do an extension down St. Croix to the parking lot area in anticipation of some possible future
There's
development.
sewer and
So,
water to the Erickson building there.
I mean, it's there, it's just a matter of, like you said, are there grants available through historical societies to help with the expense, and how does that marry in with the CIP, with the TID, what's available there, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of different things going on at once.
The garage buildings at the end of St. Croix Street, where the rowing club now operates, on our city buildings. The warehouse next to it is owned by the Ericksons.
Yeah.
And I don't know what their plans are for that going
Yeah,
into
I don't know.
But anyhow, there was sewer and water brought down when it was redone
Yeah.
to there, so
Yeah.
we know we have that
Yep.
for there.
Mike, would it be possible to do a walkthrough with you at all the parks so I can show you where people have requested picnic benches? Pickleball people, they want them up there because they have teams and they're older people and it keeps the riffraff out and they need a couple that is right near the
Yeah.
court area. Then a couple more by the play area with the kids in that because families come up there.
Well, I know at the last meeting, we talked about making some updates to the memorial packet and identifying locations of memorial benches, not just in Lakefront Park, but in all the parks.
Yeah.
And so that would be good information for me to know when I'm putting together those maps, if someone wants to donate a bench, like, well, we got spots, so, yeah.
But I'd like to do the walkthrough with you.
Yeah, that's fine, yeah. Can we wait till the weather's nicer?
Yeah,
No,
let's
we
do it
do
in the
this
spring.
now. Why am I there?
Shit, part you're there.
I just got out of surgery at
Yeah.
3 o'clock.
Yeah, we don't want to be trunching
Time
through
to waste
snow.
it
Yeah, yeah.
Well, maybe
No, go
I
right
was gonna
ahead.
add to that, a lot of people have been very generous, donating benches. And the memorial program, I know we went through it a couple of years ago, I know that's
Yeah.
on the future thing, but maybe a picnic table. I don't know, I'm sure that's a lot more expensive, and now we're talking cement pads and things like that, but even if we meet the family halfway, like, do they have to pay for the whole thing? Or maybe,
We'll pay for the pad.
yeah, we'll pay for the pad, you do the
Table.
the table.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
Because I think that's kind of I don't want
the next level.
to, yeah, the next level is right, yeah.
Yeah.
And, a bench is nice because a person or two can sit on. A picnic table, like you say, brings the families around, and so maybe that could be the gold package,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm open to that, that's fine.
Do we have an automatic multiplier to our numbers?
I'm saving my money.
No.
So as we run those numbers out 10 years,
Yeah.
they go a whole lot further. I mean, they don't go as far.
They don't
The
go as
numbers
far.
are gonna go up
Yeah.
substantially as
Yeah.
Yeah.
those hit. So do we have enough things in each category to give us the wiggle room so it's in the plan? When they did the master plan for Prospect, they put all kinds of stuff in there that'll never happen, but it was in there in case if we wanted to do it, it's in the 10-year plan and it would work. We didn't know pickleball was gonna come along or that kind of thing, but
Yeah.
any of those kind of things are what we're gonna wanna get in there.
And then just kind of going back to the high priority list, the last couple of things that I had on there, the dike road repair. I know the mayor's talked about this, beautifying the dike road just because of the amount of use that it gets. People walking, is just to the point where, like, the center seam of the old concrete is getting wider. There's kind of, I would say, bumpers, for lack of a better term, on both sides that are kind of falling into the rock, so on and so forth. And there's like electrical conduit that's kind of holding it up that, illuminates the lights. So that's kind of high on the list. The Walnut Street Bridge itself, we had gotten a grant a number of years ago to repair the abutments. And for whatever reason, the water was high all the time. We ran it, it was just a stretch of a number of years, and we got 2 different extensions from the DNR to make the repairs, and finally, like, we just can't keep giving you extensions, so we closed out the grant. But that's still something that needs to be, I'm sure we could reapply for the same grant and get the monies again, but that'll be on there, that's kind of included in that. And then the Williams Park shelters, there's one up there right now, and if you go up there, you can kind of just shake it with your hand, and it's like a little worrisome, right? And so getting a couple of shelters up there similar to the one that we just did out at the Atwood Park would be great. One at kind of each playground for families to go under. So
I've talked with Mary Claire from the chamber about the entrance to the dike as you go out there. It's probably the most heavily used park,
You mean that
walking
one?
way,
You mean that?
sidewalk. That one, yep. To take over and do better permanent plantings out there, right at that entry, which now is just nothing but weeds. But to dress that up a little bit, and they've even talked about the possibility of then having flower baskets continue going down. So the chamber buys into it really, really well. They see the number of people that are
oh yeah,
out there. It's heavily walked.
yeah.
You know, these placards that we put up that give the history of the town and they're printed or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
I would think that would be a better thing to do along there than plants that have to be maintained.
No, you're missing the point. It's the ground cover, as you.
Oh, down below.
You got better ground cover around your foundation and your front steps.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That is what needs to be cleaned
Well,
up.
for
It's all.
ground cover, the most inexpensive thing to put there would be, what's it, callaloo?
Buckthorn.
No.
Buckthorn, there you go. Poison ivy keeps the
My
damn
wife-
kids out.
My wife, she has ground cover plants that
Go
require
look at
no
it.
maintenance, and then every year she cuts them in quarters, and they just keep spreading, and they're really good. What are those? Are those
Creeping
Sedums?
Charlie.
what?
Are they sedums?
Or there's also, they've also talked about shrubs and that go in there but just cleaning the whole area up so it looks better and putting that in the same with their flower mix.
Sure.
They do all the flower baskets that hang from the poles throughout the city and that, so
Garden club.
that's what they're looking to do as part of that. I'm sorry for cutting you now.
No, that's fine. That's kind of the high priority items, and like I said, I took those and I put them in the plan. Kind of extrapolated it out for the next 10 years. The 2026 and 2027 CIP, those have been approved by council. So minus the trailhead and the St. Croix parking lot. So if you look in 2027, those are included because those are eligible for downtown TID funds if and when we do decide to move that depot. So those aren't included in the CIP. So yeah, that's kind of the spiel. Obviously, if there's any changes or any additions that you want to see based on kind of what you see in this 8.5 by 11 sheet that you want to put in the grid, now's the time to do so. And then I would look to have just a motion for approval.
So move.
It's moved and seconded.
Can I just add one thing?
Yeah.
It seems to me that sometime in the last year, we talked about doing some upgrades at the Prospect Park shelter, the big one with the fireplace.
Yep,
And
I
that
still
has not-
have. Yep.
Is there money for that?
Yep, so we have the funds available from a previous bond run.
Okay,
And so we took some money out of that for like the playground update. And so there are funds available to do the counters and
Okay.
yes, there
Okay.
is. Yep, but good question.
okay.
Do you have the funds available for the additional grills and picnic tables?
Those we typically take out of, every year, there's a $15,000 miscellaneous account, and we usually take it out of there, so that usually gets, and we take, what else we take out of there? Garbage cans, if we need to update some garbage cans in the parks. But we usually get, I mean, grills last a long time.
Yeah.
I probably, since I've been here 8 years, how many we bought, 1 or 2 maybe?
Need more. That's
Yeah.
When we have those, then we have to put boxes, we have to have grill boxes, otherwise we have, for
The
the.
charcoal.
Charcoal,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever you call them, the grill boxes.
Yeah. But yeah, that's where,
the hot grills?
yeah,
Okay.
yep. So that's where we typically take those out.
Set in a pad.
Yep.
Yeah, that pad and the thing in the box.
Okay.
Another memorial. If someone like a grill, that's functional. I'd want to be remembered that way.
Well, you can buy the first one.
All right, we'll see.
I do have a
Other
question
updates?
on the dike,
Motion in a sec, go ahead.
on the dike road repair,
Yeah.
250,000, doesn't that seem kind of low for, it's probably a quarter mile, or how long is that?
So Dyke Road repair, I didn't put a number down on there. Okay, so you're right, there is one in there for 250,000.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
that's
seems
low.
pretty low.
That's really low.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that should probably be changed based on other improvements that we've done. It's like anything, you can go as little as you want, or if you want to make it really fancy with some bump outs with, benches and new lighting, and you could spend $2 million in a heartbeat out there.
Oh, more than that, yeah.
Yeah. If you're just do a general concrete, removal replacement, you're probably looking at more like 1.4 somewhere in there, 1.5.
I'm wondering if it has to be stabilized too, because it is,
Yeah, it's definitely sloughy. That's why we're getting that separation in that middle seam. Yeah. But yeah, that's a good point. We should probably up that amount.
Yeah.
Yep.
You want to make that note in the minutes, Deb?
Yep.
Okay.
Anybody see any other corrections or if not, We need to
You're talking about the 2030.
It'd be in the
Dollar.
2030, yep.
Yeah.
Up that from 250,000 to, let's just say, 1.5 at this point.
It's okay with the first and second, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, motion carried. Any other updates?
The only,
Splash pad and-
no, the only thing that I have to update is obviously, the Buena Vista Lights in Lakefront Park had their big lighting ceremony this last Friday. I was unable to attend, but just driving by, it looks really, really nice. So if you get a chance to swing by at night, take a peek. It's a wonderful thing for the chamber to, and all the donors to do for the city. It's just brings so many people to town and it looks so cool.
Yeah.
We saw some drone photos, some people taking drone photos, and it's just, it makes it look really, really neat. So that's all I really have for project updates. As far as the future agenda goes.
I've got the.
Oh, go ahead.
There's going to be a joint park board meeting between the Hudson Park Board and the North Hudson Park Board. And we're gonna hold it, so we got enough room for everything, out at the fire hall, at the big meeting room in there. Those guys from the TV will do the the simulcast with it and do the recording of it for us. And it'll be an opportunity to listen to the whole presentation on what the planning group has been doing around a park going down on that property. They'll have the representative from the Fish and Wildlife Service.
Good.
Who worked with the committee to develop the plans and stuff, but to go through a general update to both park boards as to where the committee has been on it, what they foresee, and to talk about other things between our communities that relates to parks that can benefit all of us.
Yeah. What day is that again?
January 20th.
I like what
Oh.
it is.
So pencil that in. We'll probably do that meeting in lieu of our January meeting.
Yep. So it's not at 5 o'clock on January 20th.
So the items for
we'll
communications for future agendas, those will probably be on our February meeting, just to kind of give you a
Okay.
general timeline. But it starts at 5, I think
Yep,
that's what we're
5 to
shooting for?
Yeah, 5.
5 to 7?
Yep.
On the 20th, up at the fire hall.
So once we get the agenda from Village,
Yep.
she's preparing it,
Yep.
and I'll
Yep.
sending it out. So.
I don't have anything else.
Back from Florida.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.